What's going on, guys? K-Pine here and welcome back. And in this video, I'll be featuring a strong, unorthodox team in the Great League's Holiday Cup. The team features a Pokemon that it seems like everybody forgot about in Obstagoon. And not just Obstagoon, but my rank 1 Shadow Obstagoon. Ever since the counter nerf back in the day and power creep, Obstagoon kind of fell off the face of a cliff. But with the Holiday Cup bringing out all the normal types that have Dark and Ghost coverage, it's once again Obstagoon's time to shine. I ran the Shadowgoon for fun because, let's be honest, if you're ever given the opportunity to run a rank 1 Shadow, you've gotta do it. And let me tell you, this didn't end up just being a fun pick. It was absolutely feasting on all the Furret and Licky safe swaps. So much so that I hit over 2500 elo with this team. To round the rest out, I have a Licky safe swap to bait out a backline Annihilape and a Jelly Lead for that hard ape answer and to catch all those pesky fire types. And with that, let's get right into the battles. All right, getting into the first battle, we lead Jellicent into Shadow Dragonite. Now, this is a slightly negative lead for us just because the Shadow Dragonite does pace faster to those super effective Thunder Punches than we do to the Shadow Balls. We're going to let the Thunder Punch go, under tap the Surf as a bait, just in case they do shield it. We pivot out, we'll be able to reach another Surf later in the game. And it's a pretty safe bait. It's a Shadow Dragonite. They love to shield everything. Now they full send the superpower, of which we give up our first shield on, and we bait out the Wigglytuff. That's exactly what we want to do with the Licky safe swap, and it happens very often because they go, okay, Licky can't go for the Shadow Ball, so they're forced to go for the Body Slams, and they'll tend to bring in the Wigglytuff, and we'll just chip away and waste it there, which is extremely nice for the Obstagoon. So we reach another Body Slam, get the rollout down, not able to flip switch. It's a simul KO, but in doing so, we're going to wait out our clock and then come in with our Obstagoon, because if they come in with the Shadow Dragonite, we can swap and make the catch. And even if we didn't make the catch, they're forced to throw energy or pivot out, because we would have been able to hex them down. And even then, if we didn't make the catch, we would give up a shield and then counter all the way down. And look at this, it's a Credilli in the back, and Obstagoon is gonna put in work. First cross chop gets a shield. Now we're gonna shield the Rock Tomb, load up to the back-to-back, which is also on the CMP tie, because this cross chop, even though debuffed, will be plenty to take out the Credilli. And then we leave with a Night Slash loaded for that Shadow Dragonite, and Obstagoon right off the bat able to sweep and clean up an endgame. GG's. Next battle, we lead Jellicent into Stunfisk. A little bit of a core breaker for the team, but what I like to do is load up, fire off a Surf right away, and then pivot into Licky, because a lot of people like to throw on good timing, and in order for them to throw on good timing, it would be after 7 Thunder Shocks. Therefore, your Surf gets thrown before their charge move. You're able to save the Jelly while get some nice chip damage, pivot into Licky, and that forces them to either pivot out behind energy or dump some of that energy into your own Licky. Preferably, you'd want them to dump that energy instead of hanging on to it, but honestly, either of those aspects is very nice. And if they end up throwing right away and on bad timing, so they throw their Thunder Shock as soon as they get it after 5, or their discharge after 5 Thunder Shocks, you're going to shield it, throw one more Hex than the Surf, and then one more Hex, and then pivot into your Licky. Here, the Furret is on Brick Break, so I come in with the Jelly to make them waste their energy. Then I snipe down with Obstagoon to get an energy lead, and they come in with Water Gun Lantern. Water Gun Lantern, very bulky, but extremely slow pacing, and Obstagoon is going to be able to abuse that. Because as you'll see here, they will save some energy, pivot into their Stunfisk where they combo play. That we will give up our final shield for, land a Night Slash onto the Stunfisk, get the perfect counter down, and now we can just fire off this Night Slash right away. We hope for that boost, but we do not get the boost. And instead, since it's a CMP tie, I'm perfectly fine sacking the Goon. Therefore, we're able to keep our shield, reach the Shadow Ball, and this will be plenty to take out the Lantern. GG's. Next battle, we lead Jellicent into Annihilate. Fantastic lead for us. This is exactly where we want to see it. And we want to make sure we're able to keep switch advantage here. So we do meet the Obstagoon with the Furret. And now some Furret are running Brick Break. Some are running Trailblaze in this cup. And if they're running Trailblaze, you're golden. And if they're running Brick Break, as you'll see here, it hurts. And they unfortunately do get the farm down. But the good news is your Obstagoon's now out of the way in reference to their Shadow Ape, and Licky has Shadow Ball coverage for the Ape. So you're in still a decent spot. With that said, I will bank energy and use the shield advantage that I have now. So my opponent goes for a Brick Break, tries to ramp up their Sucker Punches, and I'm gonna go for the Surf here. Not able to get the Hex down, and my opponent gives up a shield. So that makes me think, are they ABA weak to this Jelly? Like, is Jelly just gonna put in too much work? So I try and see if I can get the Hex down. I can't, and Jelly just takes way too much Sucker Punch damage. But the good news is now is that they have no shield, so the Shadow Ball gets to land. But the bad news is I have no health left, where I landed this Body Slam, but now I'm gonna have to take out whatever their final Pokemon is with very low health and 2 shields, but it's their own Licky. So there's no coming back and winning from that. And we save both of our shields for the next game. GG's. Next battle, Wigglytuff Lead. Now this lead you may think is terrible for us because they're double resisting the hexes. It's really not, as you'll see here as we play it out. We'll fire off the Surf before the Icy Wind, just so we don't have to deal with the debuff. Now we're gonna load up, fire off our next Surf, one before we get to the back-to-back, because this might incentivize your opponent to do this. Throw their charge move there on the Swift, and if they do, you survive it and get off a Surf. If your opponent plays the CMP tie to your third Surf, then their charge move will KO you. And if that's the case, you just come in with the Licky against the Wigglytuff, and you're given one of 2 options. You can just roll out it down. You will take a Swift or an Icy Wind into the process, but in doing so, you leave with essentially 100 energy. Or you could fire off your Body Slam as soon as you get it, guaranteeing that your opponent will not get a charge move off against you. Here, I pivot instantly into the Licky, being like, oh, if they have a fighter, I need to beat it out. I need to get on Licky. But seeing that they came in with the Diggersby, that was a very unfortunate instant swap for me, because I honestly would have just stayed in and let the Jelly go down and come in with Goon there, since Licky has a pretty poor matchup. And in doing so, if I did that, I would have had the Goon on the Diggersby and the Licky on the Celio, which is just a done deal. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna matter anyways. Goon is just that good right now, destroying the Celio, and they come back in with Diggersby, and they just have seen no win con from there. GG's. Next battle, into Ludicolo. Pivot into that Licky, and we do outpace the Shadow Ball before they reach a potential Leaf Storm. Shadow Ball coming through. It does land some nice damage on the Ludicolo. They load up to what could potentially be a Leaf Storm, and we're just going to let it go. We want to save our shields for the Obstagoon. It is the Leaf Storm, does some very nice damage to Licky, but in doing so, we're now able to force switch, and oh, they come in with a Dunsparce. This is Obstagoon food. We land the Body Slam. Opponent lets us get to another Body Slam, which is going to be some nice chip. And here, they're going to have to throw, otherwise we'll reach a third Body Slam, which they do throw. And now we're going to let this go down and come in with Goon and start countering away. Now, we did save both of our shields for Goon, so we're going to just use them there on that one drill run. And now I'm going to let it go because I don't know what their third one is. So I don't know how valuable Jellicent could be or how valuable Obstagoon would be. We see it's a Licky, and yeah, this game's just over because Shadow Ball does not one-shot Jellicent, and we will be able to counter the Licky into a range where 2 Surfs KO it, as 2 Surfs normally do not. So here, I will go for the cross chop just in case they no-shield it, but no, they end up giving up their final shield. And with Jellicent here, this is just a good game. We do correctly call the Shadow Ball full send. Now we just need to load up to the back-to-back surfs, and this is a GG's. First surf does come through. It is on the CMP Tide to their next Shadow Ball, which, like I said, will not one-shot the Jellicent. Hangs on pretty well, actually. And from here, you see my opponent does concede, as the surf would take them out. GG's. Next battle, Jellicent into Skeledirge. Fantastic lead for us. And we don't actually need switch advantage in this matchup because we could put our Licky on the Skeledirge if we wanted to stay in with the Jellicent. We would just need to guarantee we win switch. But they pivot a Licky, their own Licky, and have the perfect answer in Obstagoon. Now this one's actually running Earthquake, which does some massive damage to the Obstagoon, but it doesn't matter. We land the cross chop, counter them down, and we maintain that switch advantage, as well as get off a Night Slash against the Skeledirge for some big damage. Now they're able to get a nice Incinerate down, but that's perfectly fine, because if they didn't throw right away, say they threw one Incinerate when my Jellicent came in, I would have thrown one Hex, swapped, and caught the Shadow Ball onto my Licky. It's pretty much like clockwork how that matchup works in making that catch. But since they undertapped the Shadow Ball, I'm fine giving up a shield because all that energy will be useful in whatever they have. It's a Wigglytuff, so first surf gets a shield, and I stay in to fire off the second surf, even though I know it would be debuffed, because I wanted them to waste that energy onto the Jellicent, which then gives me a free pivot into the Licky to just start spamming off those body slams. Whereas you'll see here, it does look like my opponent has force closed the app. A lot of force closes the app against the Obstagoon. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This thing is just really good against what the current meta has. And we do take that one. GG's. Next battle, Wigglytuff Lead. We know how to play this out from the Wiggly lead we saw earlier in the video. Here, load up on energy. We want to overfarm just in case the opponent goes for a catch. They end up giving up a first shield. And now this one's a little bit different because my last opponent played the zero shield scenario. Now this opponent gives up a shield on the first surf, and that is perfectly fine because you're still going to play it the same. You're not going to give up a shield, where if your opponent goes for the charm down like they do here, you will reach a third surf. Or if they throw their energy and deny you that third surf, then that's also fine. You just come in Licky and do what it does best with the body slams. And then once you get the Wigglytuff out of the way, guess what's very often paired with Wigglytuff? Normal types. Obstagoon, gonna go to town. Here, they CMP tie with the Swift onto the Licky. We do land that body slam, and just like I said, Wigglytuff gone. They have a Dunsparce, excuse me, and quickly pivot out of that matchup, come in Lantern, and just like we saw, Lantern, such slow pacing, Goon with 2 shields, this is a GG's. We do shield the surf, get off another Night Slash here, still hoping for a boost, yet to find one, and still no boost. Lantern gets countered down, the perfect counter down, and Obstagoon's gonna just run away with this game here. Cross chop, gets a shield. Now we're gonna stay in, shield back. It is the drill run. We do outpace this next cross chop before their second drill run. Does some massive damage. Pivot into Licky to force them to throw, and even in this forcing them to throw, the drill run does not KO the Licky as it's too healthy, and we reach a last second body slam, or last HP for them body slam to take them out. GG's. Next battle, Jellicent into Shadow Annihilape. Fantastic lead. See what my opponent wants to do, and they concede. They were extremely core broken by that Jellicent, it seems, and GG's. Next battle, Shadow Golurk Lead. We're gonna load up, fire off the surf right away. On honestly, what you could do, you could try and catch the Shadow Punch on the Licky right away. Every Golurk lead I've faced fires off that Shadow Punch right away, where kind of way I like to do it, so I get some good hex damage as well, is to catch the second Shadow Punch. So really up to you which one you want, but I like catching the second Shadow Punch. load up on energy, fire off this body slam. I don't think this body slam is enough to KO. It may, just because of how glassy Shadow Golurk is, but either way, I was hoping to get a shield from them so I could force the final shield and just get a very nice rollout down, as they do not reach another dynamic punch. And that's another reason why I like to catch on the second shadow punch, is because if they do stay in and play it out, you get a very nice rollout down. Now my opponent makes a fantastic play, very nice peekaboo catch, bringing in the Skeledirge to then catch the shadow ball on Dunsparce. But unfortunately for them, I have the Obstagoon waiting for the Dunsparce, so it just becomes food. In comes the Marowak, sorry, not Skeledirge, same typing but different Pokemon. Comes a Alolan Marowak. We land that Night Slash, and with energy everywhere, we could play this end game however we wanted to. So we just swap, fire off the Shadow Ball with the Licky and take out the AWAC. Jeez. Next battle, Jellicent into Morpeko. Terrible lead for us. Gonna pivot into that Licky and fire off the Body Slam right away. If your opponent wants the chip and then dip, this will be on CMP tie, so it's very nice that it also guarantees damage. Now they end up going for Psychic Fangs, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Maybe they didn't have the best answer, but that defense drop allows it to work out for them. I don't know. But they come on a Doublade, and potentially they're hoping that the defense drop allows a Sacred Sword to KO, but Licky is just too thick. So the much better play would have been for them to just Aura Wheel and then go into Doublade. Either way, we then pivot out into our Jellicent, because with this energy lead, we can threaten them with Surfs. So we end up giving up a shield here on the Aura Wheel, can fire off Surf number 1 after a Hex for good timing, important as always, and then we will outpace to the second Surf before they reach a second move. So if my opponent wants to keep the Morpeko around, they're going to have to give up their final shield, which it looks like they do. Now they fire off their move right away. That's very nice for me. Jellicent more than did its job. We're going to let Jellicent go. Come in with Obstagoon. Hope we can get the counter down. We do get the counter down, as you'll see those counters chunked. In comes a Fearow, and with this energy lead, we are going to outpace the Fearow to 2 moves before they reach 2 moves, and that will be a good game. I don't know if a Dropek would have KO'd from there anyways, but regardless, we had the energy advantage, and that is all we needed. GG's. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I loved using Obstagoon as a core breaker for the Open GreatLeague back in the day, so being able to use it with great success here felt amazing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.